Cutting off my partner's mom, it started with a single text. I-28F had just finished a long shift at work and was scrolling through my phone when I saw it. You think you're good enough for my son. Think again? You'll never understand him like I do. Stay in your lane, girl. The message was from my partner's mom. I froze, my coffee cup halfway to my lips. My heart pounded in a mix of anger and disbelief. I've known her for 3 years, long enough to know she has a controlling streak, but this was venom. For months, it tolerated her passive-aggressive comments, little jabs about my career, my appearance, my inability to cook like she could, constant remarks about how her son deserves better. At first, I brushed it off. I told myself, she's just protective, she loves him, she doesn't mean it. But as the months went on, the comments escalated from casual insults to outright harassment. Then came the ultimatum. During a dinner at their house, she cornered me after my partner went to the restroom. I just want what's best for him. And honestly, that's not you. She leaned in, eye sharp, voice low. You're not good enough. You'll never make him happy. And if you really love him, you'll let me handle the rest. My blood ran cold. I could feel my hands trembling, not out of fear, but fury. I realized then, this wasn't love, it wasn't protectiveness, it was control. Pure, manipulative control disguised as motherly concern. When my partner returned, she melted into her usual sweet smile, laughing as if nothing had happened. But I saw the way she looked at me, the challenge, the dominance, the quiet message that she could and would undermine me whenever she wanted. That night, I came home, stared at the wall, and finally asked myself a question I'd been avoiding for months. Do I want this in my life? Do I want someone trying to control my relationship, to gaslight me, to belittle me every chance they get? The answer was simple. No. Cutting her off wasn't immediate. I tried setting boundaries at first. I told my partner she couldn't text me after midnight, she couldn't comment on my cooking, she couldn't dictate what we did as a couple. I tried to reason with her during phone calls. Every time, she twisted it around, making me the villain. I just want what's best for him, she would say, in trying to protect my son. Don't be selfish. She even tried to make my partner take her side, whispering in his ear, subtly undermining me, making me doubt myself. And then one night, it all boiled over. I had cooked dinner for him and myself, trying to keep things normal. She called, again, pretending to be concerned about what I was feeding him. You really think that's healthy? He needs real food, not whatever that is. Her tone was sharp, condescending. I snapped. You know what? I'm done listening to your criticisms. This ends now. If you can't respect me, I don't want you in my life. I blocked her number. I didn't text, I didn't call, I didn't even talk about it for weeks. I felt a strange mixture of relief and guilt. Relief because the constant criticism stopped. Guilt because my partner's family had always been a big part of his life, and now I had cut off the matriarch. But it didn't take long for the repercussions to hit. My partner was shocked, hurt, angry even. He told me I had gone too far, that mothers deserve respect, that she was just trying to help. I reminded him that help doesn't come with insults, manipulation, or ultimatums. But he kept pleading, torn between the mother who raised him and the woman he loved. I had never felt more alone. I loved him, but I couldn't let someone belittle me, manipulate me, or control my life. I realized then that cutting her off wasn't just about protecting myself, it was about protecting our relationship. And as the weeks turned into months, the tension didn't ease. She would text through other family members, she would post passive-aggressive comments on social media trying to provoke a reaction. Friends and relatives took sides. Some supported me, others whispered that I was too harsh, disrespectful, or ungrateful. Through it all, I held my ground. And then, the final betrayal came not from her, but from my partner. One evening, I discovered that he had secretly been texting her, trying to smooth things over without telling me. He claimed it was just keeping the peace, but I felt blindsided, hurt in a way deeper than I had imagined. He had chosen to undermine me quietly, letting her influence creep back into our lives. I realized then, the problem wasn't just his mom. The betrayal was that he couldn't fully choose me over her. And if he couldn't, no amount of love could make me stay silent. That night, I made a decision. If I wanted peace, respect, and boundaries, I had to stick to them even if it meant standing alone. I didn't send a text, I didn't beg. I simply removed him from the middle, set clear rules about communication with his mother, and refused to compromise my dignity for the sake of family harmony. It was painful. The holidays were awkward. Family gatherings were tense. But slowly, I began to feel something I hadn't in years: control over my own life, freedom from manipulation, and the knowledge that no one, not even someone who claimed to love my partner, could belittle or betray me and get away with it. Cutting off his mother didn't destroy my relationship, it tested it. It forced my partner to face the reality of who his mother really was and where his loyalty truly lay. And in the end, I discovered something even more important than winning a fight. I discovered the power of standing up for myself, even against the people closest to the ones you love. Because sometimes cutting someone off isn't cruel, it's survival. After I blocked my partner's mom, life felt quieter at first. But peace rarely comes so easily when the person you've cut off refuses to stay gone. It started small mutual friends passing along her subtle digs, messages like, "I hope you're treating my son well." Not everyone has the strength to manage a man. Then escalated. She began posting on social media, vague but vicious. Phrases like "some people bring chaos wherever they go" and "always check who you trust" were clearly meant to provoke me. Friends messaged me, asking if she had problems with me. The whispers started. And worse, my partner, he wavered. He said he understood my need for boundaries, but every time his mom called him in tears, pleading and claiming she didn't mean to hurt anyone, he felt torn. He texted me behind my back, trying to keep the peace, and I found out it was the first real sting of betrayal. "Why didn't you tell me?" I demanded one evening. "I didn't want to upset you," he said softly. "Upset me? You undermined me," I said. "You let her back in without my consent." That night, we argued until 2 a.m. Tears, raised voices, silence broken only by the hum of the city outside. It was no longer just her manipulation, it was fracturing us. The next escalation came during my birthday dinner. His mom showed up uninvited. She brought gifts, gushing apologies, and a fake smile so wide it made my skin crawl. My partner didn't stop her, and I felt every nerve in my body tense. Midway through dinner, she leaned across the table, voice soft but sharp. "I just want him to be happy. He doesn't know what's best for him. You can't love him the way I do. No one can." I froze. Then I said it, louder than I had intended. "You've manipulated him, controlled him, and tried to belittle me for years. And you call that love?" The table went silent. My partner looked mortified. His mother's eyes narrowed, lips pressed together. Then, without another word, I stood up. "I'm done. I won't let this continue. You will not be allowed to belittle me, manipulate him, or interfere in our relationship ever again. Consider this the last time I tolerate it." I walked out. After that night, she went full campaign mode. She called relatives, mutual friends, even people at his work, painting me as unreasonable, controlling, overly sensitive, and unworthy of her son. I started losing friends not because of anything I did, but because people feared choosing sides. And the betrayal didn't stop there. My partner, still conflicted, sometimes sided with her subtly, saying things like, "Maybe you could have handled this better. I think she's just worried about me." It cut me deeper than her insults ever could. I realized then that betrayal isn't always malicious. It can be quiet, slow, insidious, coming from someone you love and trust. But I wasn't done. I began documenting everything: texts, calls, social media posts, witnesses. I wasn't going to be gaslit. I needed proof, both for myself and to finally confront the truth. Every manipulative message, every passive-aggressive comment, every secret attempt to undermine me was cataloged. Months passed. I kept my distance, focusing on my life, my career, and setting strong boundaries with my partner. Slowly, he began to see the reality of her influence. He noticed the ways she tried to twist conversations, how she attacked me through third parties, how she deliberately created tension between us. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. One evening, his mother showed up at his apartment uninvited, throwing a fit about how she deserved to be part of our lives. My partner, finally exhausted, told her to leave. She refused, and in that moment, he realized he was finally choosing me over her. Cutting her off had been terrifying. It had risked my relationship, alienated friends, and created weeks of emotional chaos. But it also taught me something crucial: loyalty isn't passive. Love isn't silence. And sometimes the bravest act is to stand up for yourself, even when everyone else, including the person you love, wants you to compromise. Eventually, the tension eased. She stopped contacting him. Friends began slowly gravitating back toward me, now seeing the truth firsthand. My partner and I rebuilt trust, slowly, cautiously, but with a new understanding. No one, not his mother, not anyone, would be allowed to undermine us again. And for the first time, I felt free. Free from manipulation, free from betrayal, and finally free to define my own life, my own boundaries, and my own peace. Because sometimes cutting someone off isn't cruelty, it's survival. After months of relative peace, I thought the storm had passed. My partner and I were cautiously rebuilding our relationship, learning to communicate, setting boundaries, and slowly reclaiming the life that his mother had tried to control. I had my own routines, my own friends, my own peace. But Rachel's influence soared in this case. His mom's was far from over. It started subtly at first. Mutual friends began sharing strange comments from her behind the scenes, like, "She's controlling him too much, you know," or "I think she's overreacting." I tried to brush it off, but the seeds of doubt had been planted. Then came the emails to his workplace. Vague, insinuating things about my unreliability and unprofessional behavior. I was mortified when our representative actually asked me to clarify rumors I didn't even know existed. But the real escalation came during a family wedding. His mom showed up, smiling sweetly at everyone, whispering in my partner's ear. I could see it, the subtle nudges, the glances meant to undermine me without anyone noticing. I tried to confront it calmly. "Why are you doing this here? Why are you always undermining me?" Her eyes flickered with mock innocence. "I just want everyone to be happy," she said. "You wouldn't understand." By this point, I was furious. It wasn't just about respect anymore, it was about survival. Her manipulations weren't small, passive-aggressive jabs. She was actively trying to destroy my life, my reputation, my relationship. And my partner, he hesitated. He didn't side with me fully yet, partly out of habit, partly because he'd been raised to defer to his mother no matter what. The breaking point came when I discovered she had been sending secret texts to my partner while pretending to be conciliatory. She would send him long messages about how unfair I was, how I controlled him, and subtly paint me as the villain. She even threatened to go public with fabricated stories about me if he didn't see reason. I realized then that cutting her off hadn't been enough. She needed exposure. She needed to see that manipulation has consequences. I began gathering everything, every text, every email, every social media post, every witness who had seen her behavior firsthand. I documented her lies meticulously. I wasn't just fighting for myself, I was protecting my life, my career, and the relationship I refused to let her ruin. Then came the night that would change everything. She showed up at our apartment uninvited, late at night, claiming she was worried about him. My partner was hesitant, but I stood my ground. "You are not welcome here. You have tried to manipulate, control, and destroy our relationship for months. If you come here again uninvited, I will call the authorities." Her eyes narrowed. She didn't back down. Instead, she smirked and whispered something I'll never forget. "You think you're strong. You think you can stop me? You have no idea what I'm capable of." I felt a chill run down my spine, but I didn't flinch. "I don't need to know. I only need to know that you're not welcome." The next day, she began her most brazen campaign yet, spreading lies to extended family, attempting to turn mutual friends and relatives against me. She sent anonymous emails to my workplace, trying to ruin my professional reputation. She even tried contacting landlords to warn them about me. And yet, in the middle of all this, something shifted. My partner finally saw the full scope of her manipulation. He realized that she had been controlling him, isolating me, and undermining our relationship for years. It wasn't just annoyance or petty jealousy, this was a calculated effort to maintain power. One night, after she had once again attempted to call him behind my back, he turned to me with tears in his eyes. I finally see it. I finally see everything she's done. I'm so sorry I didn't act sooner. For the first time, he chose me fully. And I realized that standing firm, refusing to tolerate her abuse, had forced him to confront the truth. With his support, I took a bold step. I exposed her manipulations to the people she had tried to control: friends, extended family, colleagues. I showed screenshots, emails, and witnesses who had seen her behavior firsthand. The effect was immediate and dramatic. People began questioning everything she had said. Those who had doubted me apologized. Her credibility began to crumble. By the end of that week, she was isolated. Her attempts to ruin my life had backfired, and I felt a sense of liberation that I had never known. Cutting her off had been terrifying and exhausting, but it had been necessary. I realized that sometimes survival and self-respect require making hard decisions, even if it means standing alone against someone you've been told to honor your whole life. Months later, our relationship had grown stronger. My partner and I rebuilt trust, learned to communicate honestly, and created firm boundaries with his mother. She still lurks on social media, sometimes posting vague, passive-aggressive content, but it no longer reaches us. We've reclaimed our lives. We've reclaimed our peace. And have learned something invaluable. Betrayal doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes it comes from the people closest to the ones you love. And the only way to survive it is to stand firm, protect your boundaries, and never compromise your dignity for anyone, even family.